Many thanks for staying with us. This is still iBrandTV on a beautiful Tuesday morning. It's now time to review some top stories on our national dailies, and joining us to do this is Charles Idoho, a journalist, public affairs analyst. I hope I pronounced that properly. Good morning.
Because I saw the way you reacted. Right. Please, can we hear it?
Okay, Idoho.
Like in Ondo.
Idoho.
And you know, as I said last time, if you don't pronounce names properly, the meaning will not come out.
Definitely.
And I'm very proud of that because it means something that I'm a man of strength, a man of industry.
Wow.
I'm not a lazy man. So
you don't look it at all.
You need to pronounce it properly for me to be happy.
All right.
That I am a man of strength.
Now get it right.
Charles.
Idoho. Okay, that's a fair try.
Thank you so much, Charles, for joining us one more time. All right, now we'll just move straight into the business of the day. We'll start with the News Direct paper. From the top to the bottom, the top says Kaita commends Tech Fund in revamping tertiary institutions. The federal government seeks 5.62 trillion naira loan for 2022 budget deficits, and also effective judicial system will assist Nigeria economy, coming from Ambassador Bimi. Page 13 has the story. Now the top story says 13 years after Buhari signs PIB into law. The writer saying PIB will open up investment in petroleum sector. Uwaleke says that signing marks a significant milestone for Nigeria's oil industry, coming from OPEC. Page 2 as the story. Moving on, Galaxy Backbone inks MOU with indigenous firm to facilitate deployment of Connect solution. Now, malaria news. Makinde flags up distribution of 5 million insecticide treated nets across 33 local governments. And finally, on News Direct, police arrest 39 suspects, recover 2 RPGs, 13 AK-47 rifles, 58 wraps of dynamite. To get more of this, you can find it on page 2 of News Direct.
And that takes us to The Punch. The banner headline there has it, Buhari signing of PIB, petrol may sell for 300 naira. FG to decide on subsidy. Others today. With riders there, signing of PIB has ended fuel subsidy. Market forces to determine price, say oil marketers. Minister will tell Nigerians the next step today. 8. OPEC, NEITI, others applaud new law. Let's go to the upper part of the paper. Our debts will keep rising, revenues declining. This is coming from the FG. Plateau killings, northern groups warn FG. 13 more suspects arrested. Nigeria records 37,819 cholera cases. Death toll hits 1,178. Down the line, we have 7 die. Taliban renames country Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan.
All right, now to Business Day newspaper. I'll just start from the banner headline here says 2023, Nigeria's next president faces biggest test since 1999. And Facebook backed cable to land in Nigeria, 3 others. Turn to page 30 for more stories. Pension industry sees more M&As as recapitalization intensifies. 5 major changes expected as Buhari signs PIB. And now there's a pictorial presentation at the top part of the paper, where it monitors the market monitor from NGX to Bitcoin to the exchange rate and all of that. So for more of this, get the Business Day newspaper.
Now that we have this day, watershed moment as Buhari signs Petroleum Act to overhaul oil industry. We also have there our Senate President Speaker, OPEC, NEITI, industry stakeholders hail new legislation. PDP, PANDEF, IJC kick against Act, condemn as assents and say President has demonstrated he is not a listening leader. Okay, let's stop it at this juncture and of course come to you, Charles.
Yes.
Idoho.
Fair try. Go.
Because I know I wasn't going to feel.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
like
Nat and I, we've known each other.
So he's not even.
So it's not even expected to even miss it. Go ahead. But we are forgiving.
Oh, yeah.
You're not sounding like I missed it.
Oh no, you didn't. I said it's a fair try.
Fair try. It shouldn't be fair. It should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Try.
That's right.
For those of you out
Yes.
there, he is a journalist and public affairs analyst.
That's right.
And he's here to do justice to the subjects we have coming up shortly. Now, the President Muhammad Buhari has said that with the United States pullout from Afghanistan and the subsequent takeover of power by the Taliban, Africa has automatically become the new front line of terror and global militancy. Do you share this view? What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think it's quite worrisome that U.S. appear to have lost its the big brother status. Because you recall that in 1996, when the Taliban first of all took over government in Afghanistan, they ruled with all fierceness between that 1996 until the 2011 incident that happened, the twin buildings that the Al-Qaeda,
yes,
they all ran to another. So that was what actually galvanized the U.S. to make an incursion into Afghanistan, because they felt that Al-Qaeda was using Afghanistan as their major base to perpetrate all the evil in their own estimation that we were witnessing at that time. So they moved into Afghanistan in 2001, and they were able to rout the Afghanistan government authorities at that time, and then they installed what I would call a negotiated leadership, which was headed by Hamid Karzai. Of course, incidentally, the airport in Kabul is named after him. In 2001, he was that was a kind of a negotiated leadership that they brought in. But the Afghan, the conservative Afghan, didn't see Karzai as one of them. Karzai well trained abroad. He has this impeccable way of speaking, a almost non-accented English. Okay, so they didn't see him as one of them. They felt that it was an extension of foreign influence on the Afghan affairs. So along the line, then Al-Qaeda, before this man was killed, Osama bin Laden, so they made bases there. Somebody even said jocularly that in Afghanistan, or because it's a mountainous area with undulating topography, that you have more mountain caves than houses. So it was a very difficult terrain for the U.S. military to actually rout the Taliban. So they were there holding on and all that, and they were all making the question. Even these last 10 days before the eventual takeover, it was bloodless. Nobody even expected, because Donald Trump said there was no need for U.S. to be wasting money abroad and all that, and we withdrew the soldiers and came back home and all that. So that's by the way. But you see, the taking
actually was bloodless.
Okay, no, the takeover.
The takeover.
Yeah, it was bloodless.
What else do you expect? There was no resistance.
Bloodless. No, that's what I'm saying.
No resistance,
because the military that US, at least I think it was the failure of the US to actually put in place an enduring government in that place.
So they failed.
It's a failure. Yeah. I mean, by my experience, it's a failure. Because if you made an incursion to place, okay, you wanted a regime change, a change of orientation, a change of the way, because you had it was a strict, that time, the Taliban that time, it was a strict enforcement of the Sharia code. In fact, even the strictest in the whole world, where women were not allowed to go to school, they were not allowed to work, and everything about women were all suppressed and subjugated. They had no voice. But the U.S. said no, that wasn't possible. This is a modern day. Even with Saudi Arabia, that even where the seat of Islam, it's not as strict as that. So why would you want to have a brand of Islam that you now treat women as no human beings at all? So they have come now, after they have even come in. The problem we are having is that most of these Islamic fundamentalists will now begin to look at Afghanistan as a major base, because
that's it.
So that's why Buhari is saying that I'm particularly of particular interest in the fact that Africa may just be like the whipping boy in all this, because there is usually not a very strong resistance. Even when the foreign bodies come in here, they come in because of our mineral wealth, not because of they want to give us good life or whatever. or assist in any development.
Yeah.
China, okay, particularly China, even when having any internal strife here, or any country that China doesn't interfere. Theirs is purely business. U.S. will come, look at what you have, they will use one hand to give you and the other one to take away and all that. So there's no free meal anywhere. That's why Buhari's fears are well founded. And that's why Africa will begin to now look inward to say America has its own domestic problems. It's only some of us who have had the privilege of traveling abroad. We see that what we see in the media is not what is there over there. Even Dubai that you see as beautiful. I mean, you go to places like Deira. Deira is just like, although I'm sure the structures are beautiful anyway, but it's just like Ajingule. You understand?
Wow.
You understand? Well, I'm not saying that there's a rot there. What I'm saying is that the beauty you're seeing, there are places in even there. There's also about these areas. You understand? So we must look inward. We must begin to take our destiny in our own hands to say nobody can do it for us. That's why I'm saying that all African leaders, we must see Africa as our #1 focus. Not every time we're having any problem, we are looking towards abroad. Yes. Even if you look at now, all the foreign embassies over there, what they did, they all went there to evacuate their home. There's no resistance. Even whether it's Russia, whether it's all of them, what are they telling them? They said, please ensure that lives are protected. But are you seeing any maybe UN going over there to now say, oh, they will resist the intake?
I really wonder.
That's it.
Because
so they say, okay,
the whole world
they're taking over. Yeah, it's your affair. But as far as our people there, please don't hold them. So they began to do charter flight out and taking their own nationals. So it's the same thing. If anything happens in Nigeria, they will be looking, because just do your own way and ensure that the Americans are here, the Britons that are here, the Japanese that are here are safe. They first of all take them away. So it's your problem.
Geared up to talk. Never mind. We'll come back to you shortly.
So
okay.
We'll come back to you.
Thank you very much.
So
yes.
we'll just take a short break just so we allow our guests to breathe. Then we'll come back for the main topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash.
Powerful looks command respect.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us one more time. This is still iBrandTV. Now move on to the topic of the day. The quest for oil in the northern region and other parts of the country have received a significant boost with the signing of the Petroleum Industrial Bill 2021 into law by the President, Muhammadu Buhari, on Monday. However, the Pan-Niger Delta Forum lambasted the President for assenting to the PIB without the amendment of some controversial sections, adding that the move was a way to siphon oil from southern Nigeria to the north. Our guest is still here with us in the person of Charles Ideho.
That's right.
Ideho.
Yeah.
Journalist and public affairs analyst. Charles, back to you, Charles. What's your opinion on the? I know the last time you were here, you poured out your heart because you are from one of the Niger Delta states.
That's right.
What's your opinion on the statement by the PANDEF saying the government is trying to siphon money because they are putting 30% into northern states? So what's your opinion on that?
Well, first let me correct. Even though first, when the news broke, I read through yesterday. One part of me want to applaud the government. The other part of me, the Niger Delta part of me, also refuses to
Went cold.
Went cold, you know. So there's a kind of a popular of feelings, if you will.
Mixed feelings.
So I think the E.K. Clark also, Edwin Clark, I think he only took his, he only beamed his searchlight on one aspect of the PIB. So it's not something that we can just throw it with a wave of the hand. First, if you recall that what he actually sought to do in the beginning was to unbundle the oil industry, to bring about ease of doing business, then to eliminate the bureaucratic bottlenecks you have that still exist. Still exist because even the implementation is not there. Because right, if NAT had money or you had foreign investors coming to do oil business, you had to go to NNPC. You see all this throwing fire here and they had to spend a lot of money to lobby. These were the things that attended the way business was done. But now that with this current regime of this PIB, that will be eliminated because you have no recourse to be going to the minister anymore. It's directly to the NNPC because it's now a limited liability company. So you're going to be having board of directors and all that, chairman, just as you have with banks and all that. For instance, if you have any business to do in banking, you don't need the Minister of Finance. You don't need to go to Abuja. If you're able to go to the board and they're able to approve it, your business is as good as their business. So those were some of the areas that the PIB sought in the beginning that to address. Then also attached to that is the issue of the welfare of the host communities, which of course is one of the vexed issues they're talking about. But you see, that's on the one hand, the one I said I wanted to applaud. But on the flip side of it, the one Edwin Clark is talking about, which of course is generating this furore that all of us are witnessing today, is just an integral part of it. There are three ways. Number one is that you're going to be setting aside 10% from that is 10% from the profits. They call it from the oil petroleum prospecting. Okay, they call it petroleum prospecting. That's 10%. You're going to be getting from that, from the profit from maybe when people come, they want to do prospecting of oil, whatever they pay, the license, not license yet. When you grant them the prospecting agreement, when you grant them, they pay you 10% of that. Then there's also the mining lease. The mining, once you have been given the lease to mine, you also have to pay 10% to government. Then the one that is actually vexed is this 30%, but 30% is not given to the North. So we must clear that. It's not given. But why people are saying it's given to the North is that what they call the frontier, or the French will call it frontier, what they call the frontier acreage, has to do with because you have the many of these areas are domiciled in the North. For instance, you're going to be giving 30%, NNPC is going to be giving from its profit, setting aside 30%, and they kept in an escrow account for specifically, they even said there's a word only written there. I think it's section 9, section 5 of that bill. No more bill, it's now an act.
Yes,
it's an
act.
That is to put it aside for the development of the frontier basins only. The only is spelled out. So it's not for any other thing. Where are these basins located? You have the Sokoto Basin in the north. You have the Lake Chad Basin in the north. You have the Bida Basin in the north. You have the Benue Trough in the north. You have, I think, about other areas. The only ones that made mention of the south is the Anambra Basin. Okay, then you also have the Dahomey. I looked at the Dahomey. I didn't see because Dahomey, Dahomey is Republic of Benin. You know, it runs of equal line. I mean, when you have the north and south. So that's what's the name on it? Dahomey or Republic of Benin. You know, we share boundary with it on the west. So I don't personally know whether it's on the northern part of Dahomey or on the southern part of that. I wouldn't know as we speak. I'm still trying to look at it because that one was stated in the report that right.
At the end of the day, is Dahomey.
It's Dahomey, yes, Dahomey Basin, but not because I'm sure where is shared boundary with Nigeria. Just like you have Chad, you have Chad Republic, you have Lake Chad. Of course, there's the Lake Chad part of us, which is Nigeria. There's the Dahomey part, which is, or you have the Bight of Benin. You remember the Bight of Benin, of course, at the Atlantic and all that. So these are what these people are seeing, and also more vexed is the issue of you are setting aside 30% of profit for oil exploration purposes. You will not discover the oil. Now, what they are saying, the PANDEF and all that, is that Niger Delta, where about 8 states of the Niger Delta, what you are getting out of it, you are giving 3% back. 3%, just paltry 3%, but you are setting aside 30% for to explore. I say, you know, when Buhari came in 2016, exactly, he now said they should increase the activities of oil exploration in the north. People are saying it's as if you must get oil in the north at all costs. So 30%, I believe, is too much. You know why I say it's too much is that when they were prospecting oil in the Niger Delta, government didn't put any kobo. It was Shell, all this other company and all that. They all spent their money, and government now went to what they call JVC, joint venture company and all that. They went to JVC partnership or JV partnership, joint venture partnership. So they brought in their investment to explore. So whenever they found, so we have our own, they have their own. So the question is, why would government now begin to spend 30% of profit? That this business is supposed to be in the private hands. Oil business is private. So why would you be spending money on behalf of the private sector so much to now prospect for oil? And then, so that's what but where you are getting oil and you are giving them 3%. These are the areas people are looking at, said no, it's actually not well thought out. You remember when the this PIB was in the House, in the National Assembly, it's all where, you know, like a yo-yo, we are sleeping all up and down and all that. For over 20 years was there. Then it came out, bodies now returned it, they should look at the gray areas. But it seems as if those gray areas had actually not been, it wasn't settled before he assented to this bill and then become a law. But so I think it can still be amended, because that 30% you are giving, it's just this issue of power. Electricity, you took it from your hand, you gave it to a private investor, but you are still investing in it. I mean, why? It's for the private concern. So if you look at the more look at the telecom sector, it was privatized 100%. Look at how we are enjoying it. You understand? I remember the cousin of mine in Holland. Okay, he was supposed to speak to his mother during the 90 days. The mother got to the younger sister's office, his younger sister's office, 8 a.m. He didn't get to speak to his mother until 4 p.m. because of night. But today now it's a matter of enjoying your bedroom. You're talking to somebody in Australia.
Wherever, yeah.
Because, so if, for instance, the law, as I said, has two aspects. One is the one you want to applaud because you seek to unbundle the industry. But again, the implementation is always a problem here in Nigeria. It's not the lack of laws or lack of the enabling legislations, but the political will to ensure that the letters of these laws are 100% ensured that they are passed through. That's where we always have a problem.
All right, now,
Nigeria.
Charles,
Yes.
why did it take so long for the PIB to be signed into law?
Well, the answer is very simple. Because of interests. You have the interest of the northern. Okay, you have northern interest. You have southern interest. You have the interest of the foreign bodies and all that. So, because even the JVs who are here in the country, most of them don't want a change in the way things are right now. Do you know, Nat? Just imagine. I'm sure when you were secondary school and all that, you've been told every time that we are producing, if not sometimes 1.2 billion barrels of oil or something. It never goes beyond that. Where is it done that? Because you know what, when they exploit this oil, when they get all this crude, it is the figure they give you that you accept. How can you just be fixated? Does it mean that oil is no more flowing? It has to be 2.2 billion barrels per day, every day.
So it's controversial?
It's controversial. So there are, see, when I'm saying there are interests that are looming larger than the country. The leaders have their interest, the ministers have their interest, everybody, NDDC has their interest, the Abados group again, that's the one, and it's NDDC, yes.
NDDC.
They have their own, the host community have their own, people like Clark also have their interest and all that, so nobody says them there. So it's all it's just the admixture of this separate individual entities and interests that have, continually over the years acting as a centrifugal force or forces that pulling the team from the center rather than us going to the center to have well-driven policy.
So PANDEF insisted that the equity share must be 10%, rejecting the 3% to the host, 3% allocation now to the host community. Is that a fair share, or is it that 10%? Is it too much, or is it or it should be in between? Because you just mentioned that they have their interest. So 3% to host communities, of course, it could be 10 too small, but 10% to the host communities, will you tell me it's too much?
Well, I personally will not say it's too much. When you compare that with the degradation that has taken place, I'm sure I mentioned it here last time that there was a time in Ogoni that there was black rain fell. People can't farm, people can't fish. I know in Niger Delta, majorly, most places you can't even farm because it's water creeks and all that. So their means of livelihood is fishing. And then the oil exploration, the oil spill, it devastated the whole place. So where do you expect them to get their living from? So the 3% might not be too much. But okay, 10% to host community might be too much. But to the state is good. But right now the state, they are already being paid 13%, which of course, it goes in there, you don't even see the money. You understand? So the 3%, I think maybe about 5% should be fair to the host communities, not state. Host communities should actually get about 5%. I mean, if you give 5% of $2 billion, you know how much is that? So I think that's it. For me, 5% will be a fairer share than the 3% that is in the law right now.
You rightly pointed out that the signing of the PIB into law was greeted or welcomed with mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings, yes, that's right.
Now, do we see any possibility of the federal government revisiting this, like trying to readjust it in order to please these other ones that are not happy about this very development?
Very unlikely, because the issue of lawmaking is not done by fiat. You understand? It goes through stages. We all know. We read it in government in those days in school.
This one you were pointing at me as
I said we.
Both of us went.
I'm looking at it. Maybe you went to school in the 80s. Not my friend. Don't act old here. You understand? So we read it in government in those days. You have first reading. You pass through the first reading, second reading. You have the committee stages, and you now have the third reading for can now be passed. So all these stages they take a long time. Don't also forget that when you go to the National Assembly today, you have more representatives from the north.
Yes.
That this bill appears to favor than you have in the south. So if you bring the interest, southern interest and northern interest will always override this because of they have more representation. So if you want to put it to a vote, for instance, the south will always lose, which is why I personally am saying that I'm thinking that we should even scrap the House of Reps. I'll tell you the reason. House of Reps, that's where you have an unequal representation. The Bayelsa State has eight local governments of less than about 15, I can't recall now, representatives, but Kano has 44.
Wow.
Imagine how many, they have over how many, about 10 something or so.
Disparity.
But it's only the Senate that you find even representation, no matter how small a state is 3. 3 senators represent all the states. Whether you are from Kano that has 44 local government, you have 3 senators. Whether it's Bayelsa that has 8 local government, you have 3 senators. So I am thinking that if you have something like that, then there won't be this imbalance in the voting pattern. Each time they want to vote in the House of Rep, you always have more representatives from the north than from the south. So if you put it to a vote, for as I said, it will
definitely favor.
So I'm not foreseeing in the nearest future where even if they revisit it, as I said, it's not something you do by fiat. The interests are still there. There are interests that are smiling. There are interests that are sorrowing. So the ones that are smiling are more, who will want the status quo to remain. Then they will just tell the ones who are just manage it. In the time to come, we will increase it. So
now that it is clear, it's impossible.
I know it's not as it's possible. It's not likely.
Oh.
No, it's not impossible. It's not just impossible. It's not likely. And at the end of the day, you find that, and the way we are structured in Nigeria, not this PIB, the lifespan it's going to take in the public discourse, probably 1 week. From next week, another news will come. It will push this PIB into, it will render it will throw it into the trash basket, into the trash bin of history. You will be here next week. We will be here next week. PIB may not even feature in your reportage.
It must have been overtaken by other events.
I'm telling you.
Let's briefly talk about, as we wrap up, the northern state. Now, Zamfara has a good mind that remits almost 0% revenue. So
no, it's about 0.3%. To the GDP.
Well, it's still 0% anyway. But then, so much focus on oil. What about this? This might be more like going into a different aspect. But then it's really important, because if we have this and it's just laying low, how about focusing so much on this? Is supposed to be remitting billions and billions and billions yearly. So what's happening? What do you think can be done rather than focus so much on oil in the northern states?
Very briefly, Charles, because
okay,
of time.
I want to use an analogy. Okay, ugu, that's pumpkin leaf, is vegetable. Cannabis is vegetable. Which one is the focus? Which one do you have more focus on? Is the cannabis, because cannabis uses more money than ugu. That's my answer.
Oh, really?
Thank you so very much.
So that's brief answer, and I really like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It's been Charles Ideho.
Yes, that's fine.
I got it right. Journalists and a public affairs analyst doing justice to the topic we have for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate my pleasure.
All right. We'll be taking a break now. When we come back, sports lovers, time for you to smile when we bring you the sports review. That's directly after this short break. Stay with us.